I nodded, closed the computer, lights off. At this stage I completely freed from family shadow. Pressure made me calm, cautious, strong. Every humiliation turned to strength. Every exclusion turned to revenge chip. Phoenix Maritime Solutions, my hidden sword. Michael coldly shouted. Emma, dare to come back and do not expect peace. I looked up, calm. I came back taking what is mine. Father, holding documents, serious. He said. Daughter, you should not do this. I smiled. No, you were wrong. Mother approached. Emma, listen. I shook my head. Actions have more power than words. Michael slammed the table. You cannot take the company. I calmly placed the folder. Shareholders decide, not you. At the shareholder meeting I arrived early. Phoenix Maritime Solutions materials neatly arranged. Board whispered, discussing my identity. Michael impatient. Start already. I smiled slightly. Good, we review contracts from the start. Mr. Caldwell cleared throat. According to Thomas Harrison's last wish. Michael interrupted. Cut the nonsense. I pointed. Please listen, I have evidence. Board quiet. Michael angry but cannot refute. I showed backup contracts, compared alterations. He said. Old contracts do not count. I calmly. The tampering was you, evidence clear. Father bit his teeth. Could it be true? I handed printouts, every tamper mark clear. Michael face purple, hands shaking. I continued. Contract original includes first refusal. He said. So what, you do not understand operations? I tapped table. Pacific Rim route reorganization requires my approval. Shareholders whispered. Parents stunned. Michael dumbfounded. I showed phone latest stock and shipping plans. He said. You cannot. I interrupted. I can already. Board called to confirm. Michael completely desperate. Then I announced grandfather's core will. Thomas Harrison transferred majority shares to me. Shareholder trust vote effective immediately. Michael yelled. You cannot take it all. I nodded. It was always mine. Parents stepped back, tears fell. Michael helpless, watching contracts evidence shareholder support. I adjusted company strategy. Phoenix Maritime Solutions managed key routes, ports. Michael's plans paused, credit frozen. Every operation precisely calculated, risks controlled. Shareholders cooperated smoothly. Parents dared not interfere. Michael powerless. Michael tried to threaten me last time. He said. If you do not give up family reputation. I interrupted. Reputation you ruined 10 years ago. He could not respond, only trembled. Father whispered. Emma, this too ruthless. I smiled. Deserved. A month later, company stable. Stock rising, core clients back. Michael forced to resign, lost authority. Parents calmly accepted reality. Phoenix Maritime Solutions actual controller. I supervised every route, every contract. Michael begged at family gatherings. Emma, just give up. I shook head. Give up, you never gave me a chance. Parents choked silent. Shareholders recognized authority, meeting over. Michael pale, trembling, left. I organized contracts and folders. Every piece evidence archived. Phoenix Maritime Solutions stable. Shareholders and clients support my decisions. Parents silently observing. Michael powerless, watching me control the company. Months later I signed new route contracts. Employees, partners executed plan. Michael could not interfere, company stable. I stood by office window smiling. Everything under control, revenge complete. Grandfather's legacy fulfilled, patience and wisdom strength. 10 years humiliation clear return today. Michael's fear parents regret justice deserved. Phoenix Maritime Solutions took over core business. Company operating smoothly, shareholders fully trust. Every step calm, strong, precise, no room for error. I sat down reviewing contracts, recording success. Michael lost control, whispered. Parents watched silently, could not interfere. Board fully supported, action implemented. I gently closed folder, satisfied. Revenge complete, justice done. The day I left the family building, it rained heavily. Water ran down the windows, reflecting my calm expression. I sat in a taxi holding the backup contracts. The driver was silent, street lights blurred. I knew this was just the beginning. Arriving at the hotel, I opened my computer. Checked contract data line by line. Found anomalies in format and font. Someone had tampered with my work. My heart sank, fingers paused on the keyboard. Michael's smile appeared in my mind. Grandfather had said, "They will underestimate you." I closed my eyes, nodded slightly. The next day I began building my plan. Contacted former partners, rebuilt trust. Every call, every email carefully recorded. I registered a company called Phoenix Maritime Solutions. Employees carefully selected, identity kept secret. Every task executed cleanly. Accounts independent, contracts confidential. I like a chess player quietly setting the board. Michael continued showing off at family meetings. Announcing new acquisitions. Shareholders applauded, I observed remotely. Every decision flaw I recorded. He thought he was safe. I clicked the mouse, simulating acquisition risks. Data showed once reorganized, key asset value would be exposed. My bullet points lined up gradually. Every step waiting for the opportunity. Once Michael called father to discuss finances. I quietly listened. He repeated, "Emma's mistakes are too big." Father's side did not argue. I flipped the backup contracts, checked clauses. Found hidden first refusal clause. Signed 10 years ago unnoticed. This small clause would be key. I did not act immediately. Every day I watched the board. Phone calls, grandfather reminded. Every step a test. I nodded. You will see the result. Hung up, recording every message. Phoenix Maritime Solutions gained reputation. Clients contacted proactively, asking about logistics. Every contract carefully reviewed, risks controlled. Tasks completed and archived securely. I did not reveal identity or accept interviews. Michael proud in the spotlight. Every appearance I recorded, stock changes. Attended port conferences. Peers unaware of my background only saw me as a rising company head. I proposed optimization, clients surprised. I smiled, keeping notebook of potential partners. Every piece of information a weapon for revenge. Michael became anxious over company issues. Suppliers demanding payment, goods delayed. I obtained news from public channels unbeknownst to him. Grandfather reminded. They are beginning to make mistakes. I nodded. I am ready. Late at night, working in office. Screen bright, documents neatly arranged. Every number, every clause checked. Printed risk lists. Contracts, ledgers, notebook like chess pieces waiting. Father occasionally called. Emma, is the plan safe? I calmly said. Everything as expected. Michael unaware I quietly set traps. Every transaction, every contract pre-planned. His flaws increasingly obvious. Once I appeared at shareholder meeting. Michael saw me, froze. He wanted to approach but stopped. I handed my card, smiling. Emma Harrison. Clients and shareholders surprised, whispering. Michael's expression changed, realizing I was no longer powerless. Months later, Phoenix Maritime Solutions stable. I controlled key routes and logistics. Every Michael's statement I prepared data to challenge. Shareholders questioned his decisions. I did not lose temper, only used facts and numbers. Grandfather nodded. Every piece of information collected paved the way for revenge. Michael tried suppressing me at company meetings. He yelled, "Emma, you are an outsider." I calmly said, "I am a shareholder entitled to audit." He, purple with anger, could not refute. Every dispute I had evidence. Internal emails, contracts, accounts, every piece. Shareholders doubted his ability. I ceased contact with family. Emails, texts replied coldly. Father called repeatedly, only brief answers. Grandfather reminded, "Observe patience." I nodded, continuing to build network and resources. Michael attempted to bribe staff. I recorded transfers and contract clauses. Every bribe in my hands. He thought unnoticed but exposed in my plan. I did not call police or go public. Quietly waited. I gradually controlled the board. Every key route, contract under me. Michael thought controlling everything. Father still monitored accounts, could not see my strategy. I smiled quietly, everyone underestimated me. Late at night, I organized materials. Every contract bill, email numbered. Simulated company reorganization. Every option rehearsed results. Michael's flaws clearly visible. Grandfather messaged, "Now you are ready. You almost drove the family into the abyss." That day Michael's words hit my chest like a hammer. I was publicly stripped of my position and kicked out of the house. Years later I stood in a law firm, holding evidence of the contract I had altered 10 years ago. In the conference room Michael trembled. Jack's face turned pale and Mother's mask completely cracked. Though mass shares were transferred to my name. In that moment their power collapsed. I did not say a word, just looked coldly at their embarrassment and regret. 10 years ago Michael slammed the document on the table. Father Jack sat beside him and said plainly, "Your position is terminated immediately." The air smelled of coffee and paper. I put down the document and asked softly, "What is the reason?" Michael shrugged. "You have contributed nothing." I answered, "Who signed the losing contract?" He laughed. "Are you blaming me now?" I did not move, just pushed the contract toward him. The edges of the paper scraped the table, making a light sound. His expression froze. Father looked up. "Emma, stop it," I said softly. "I am just letting the facts speak for themselves." Grandfather did not speak, only tapped the table. Michael turned to him. "You saw it too, right? She has always been like this." Grandfather asked, "What do you mean?" He pointed at me. "Stubborn, unempathetic, does not listen to advice." I smiled slightly. "Any other labels?" He stared at me. "Yes, failure." I nodded. "Sounds nice." The conference room lights were a bit bright, I could hear breathing. Father rubbed his temples. "Stop making a scene." I looked at him. "I just came to report on the project." Michael leaned back in his chair with a dismissive tone. "Report to whom, me?" I said. "You do not deserve to hear the results." He stood up, the chair scraped the floor harshly. Grandfather raised his hand to stop the quarrel. "Emma," he said slowly. "You are still young, you do not understand discretion." I responded. "If discretion means silence, then I indeed do not understand." His gaze turned cold. I knew the decision to exclude me had already been made. That meeting lasted 12 minutes. When I left, the folder was neatly arranged. The moment the door closed, I heard Michael whisper, "She will not last." Footsteps echoed down the hallway like a reverberation. A few days later, the family company announcement took effect. I was transferred out of the core department. The reason was position restructuring. Employees whispered and some avoided me. I did not explain and did not get angry. I just began arriving early and leaving late every day. Sorting emails, organizing accounts, reviewing contracts. Each document was like a wound opening, it caused pain. At night, the office was empty. The computer screen glowed coldly. I found Michael's hidden fund transfers. The accounts were complex but had a pattern. Every transfer bypassed the main account. I wrote sequences in my notebook marking the time. The numbers lined up neatly like evidence. The next day Michael met me in the hallway. Pretending casually. "You have not resigned yet." I answered. "Some things are not finished." He smiled. "You are persistent." I looked back. "I like to finish things cleanly." He paused, his smile stiffened. Father began avoiding speaking to me. The family dining table became quiet. Grandfather occasionally glanced at me without speaking. Mother's photo from years ago hung on the wall untouched. Michael sat in the main seat as the default heir. I became an observer. One night I heard sounds from the study. The door ajar. Michael and Father inside. I heard my name. Father said, "She should not participate in board meetings." Michael replied, "I will handle it." I leaned against the door quietly. At that moment I understood. They wanted to completely exclude me. From position to inheritance, from decisions to the future. I returned to my room, opened the computer. That billing file appeared again. I began copying, sorting and archiving. Every file named clearly with dates. I did not comment, only preserved evidence. The third week the company held a quarterly meeting. I was not invited. The receptionist whispered, "Your name is not on the list." I nodded. "Thank you." The elevator door closed, her eyes looked guilty. I went to a nearby cafe. Outside the window the street was busy, people hurried. My phone received a message, internal transfer record. From a trusted finance colleague. She wrote, "Emma, be careful." I replied, "Thanks." That evening Michael drove by. He stopped the window and said, "Still dreaming of coming back?" I smiled. "Dreaming? I am just collecting data." He frowned. "What do you mean?" I did not answer, took out my phone and photographed his license plate. He froze, his face changed. I turned and left. A few days later the company audit team arrived. They began sealing files, retrieving contracts. Michael's face darkened. Father's expression was complex. Grandfather silent for the first time. I sat quietly. Colleagues asked quietly, "Did you do this?" I said, "I only provided the materials." They nodded without asking more. The investigation lasted 2 weeks. Every bill pointed to Michael's account. Amounts clear, times precise. Grandfather finally spoke. "Stop the work pending investigation." Michael's hands trembled. He looked at me angrily. I did not avoid his gaze. I said softly, "Data does not lie." That night he burst into my office. Slamming the table asked, "Why are you doing this?" I answered, "Because I have had enough." He yelled, "You are harming the family." I said coldly, "I am saving it." He wanted to argue but could not. After the confrontation I knew he began to fear me. Soon the company held a high-level meeting. Grandfather asked everyone to attend. He looked at me. "Emma, what do you want to say?" I handed over the file. I said, "Everything is inside." The cover was gray with a date. The room was silent. Grandfather opened the first page, frowned. Father turned pale. Michael lowered his head, no longer spoke. After the meeting I was asked to leave. Grandfather only said, "Stay calm." I nodded, turned and walked out. The wind outside was cold. I went to the parking lot, saw Michael crouching by his car smoking. He did not look up or speak. I knew the first shot of the conflict had been fired. From that moment I was no longer a bystander. I became the enemy. Jack said coldly, "You must leave." I stood in the study doorway holding files. Michael sat on the sofa lazily smiling. He said, "Go to Seattle, far from here." I said softly, "I will leave, but not to escape." Mother peeked from the door. "We arranged a position for you." I shook my head. "Thank you, I do not need an arrangement." Jack spoke more firmly. "Within 6 months, survive on your own." I looked up. 6 months is enough to plan the future. Michael sneered. "You do not even understand the basics." I arranged the contracts in my hand, slowly said, "I mastered the basics long ago."